It's a pleasure to serve under your chairship, and I congratulate my honourable friend from Kensington and Bayswater for securing this vital and important debate. If we are serious about national growth, we must invest in London. That is not something that should be in dispute. After we've heard today, London is the UK's top global city. It's home to over 9 million people, and yet it generates almost a quarter of our entire economic output. Its net contribution to the Treasury now stands at a record £43.6 billion. That is why we need to invest in London, because London invests in the UK. It is essential, and on the way here to this debate, I was talking to, or more correctly, arguing with another MP, the non-London MP, who was saying it's about time we got some of that money out of London. And this is the environment that is being created when we talk about taking from London, instead of saying we need to invest in London and in the regions. I mean, we've heard how much tourists spend in London. It's a whopping £16.3 billion, and that is still recovering since the pandemic. And I think if the government can consider the exemption, the VAT exemption for tourists, I think that would also make a boost to what is made, and also an overnight accommodation levy of just £1. That would also bring in some more money that could be used for the development of London by the Mayor of London. And so we need to stop this narrative that, you know, London is somehow separate from the UK and from the rest of the country, and that we take from London to invest elsewhere. I think it's the wrong attitude, and I think it was the attitude of the last government. It shouldn't be a carryover attitude of this government. And if we take, for instance, as my honourable friend mentioned, the Bakerloo line, which I travel on regularly, which is the oldest train service in the UK, and by gosh, when you're on it, you can feel that. It is very much needed that it needs to be upgraded, and it runs right through my constituency of Brent East. Now, if we invest in the Bakerloo line, not only will it make my life easier, and I know this isn't about me, but the project would add £1.5 billion to the UK economy. It will support 150,000 jobs and support over 100,000 new homes. What is there not to like about investing in the Bakerloo line? And in addition to that, Mr. Weston, 2/3 of TfL's supplies are outside of London. So the new trains are built in Yorkshire. So it's spreading that economic wealth right across the region. So it isn't London versus the regions. This is London working with the regions for the betterment of the UK. And we can and we must grow together. And the same applies to our safety and infrastructure. A safe and functioning London supports not only residents and businesses here, it ensures that our capital remains open to global investors, visitors and institutions. And as we recently read, people are now seeing London as the place to be and invest. And actually we've got companies moving from the US to the UK wanting to invest here because of the infrastructure that we have, and also the diversity that we have and are proud of. And the reality is that after a decade of conservative cuts and neglect, our emergency services are under huge pressure. They are struggling to survive. The Fire Brigades Union had a lobby here yesterday. I mean, 10 or 20 years ago, there was talk of reducing the fire service because we had so few fires. Now, with the advancement of electric cars, mopeds, bikes, we're having more and more fires, so we need to invest. The Metropolitan Police has delivered £1.2 billion in savings since 2012-2013. Now there's talk of frontline cuts. We just can't have that in London because it's not just a threat to London's safety, it's a threat to our economic stability. So past investment has delivered. So those people that are saying, well, that's not the case, past investment has delivered. The Elizabeth line unlocked 55,000 homes, created tens of thousands of jobs across the country, and added an estimated 42 billion to the economy. So this is how we make money. This is how we invest and make money. And not only that, the Elizabeth line also is the best air-conditioned trains that we have in the system, which I think everyone would appreciate right now. So we need to repeat that success, not retreat from it. So we need to praise London. Productivity in London has fallen since 2008, with the Conservatives creating funding formulas that have pushed funding away from areas that needed it the most. We saw that during the election with the then Prime Minister talking about that, quite embarrassingly so. And since 2010, my borough of Brent has been forced to cut a whopping £222 million in funding due to the Tory austerity measures, and we still need to deliver. So we need to stop cutting and start investing. And just to conclude, we are now behind cities like Paris and New York in productivity, and that should concern every single one of us in London and outside of London. So we need to be working with London. And I'm also concerned, as we've heard previously, about the current local government funding reforms. While rightly introducing a new focus on deprivation, as we've heard before, not including housing is a skewed way of looking at it. Housing in London, often in my constituency of Brent, 70% of people's earnings goes on housing. So my colleagues in this room, and I'm always really proud to see all of our London MPs. They are, Mr. Weston, some of the best MPs in the House. I urge the Minister, when he stands to his feet, to reconsider these reforms and ensure that they reflect the unique and pressing challenges that London is facing. We shouldn't shy away from that. We should be proud of what London brings to the UK. London, it isn't about special treatment. It's about sound economic judgment. A thriving capital fuels a thriving country. We don't have to choose between London and the rest of the UK. In fact, choosing London is choosing national growth. So let's invest in our capital, our transport, our safety, our housing and skills. And let's back London, and let's all love London. Thank you.
Danny Beales.